Hey guys, Nova Bushi here, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing alright. And today we're going to go through an article from Capcom, the director's letter, talking about the future of Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's get into this. So here you can see we're just on the website and we've got a message from Tokuda talking about how the game has sold quite a lot. It's actually reached over 10 million copies as of today globally. You know, congratulations to Capcom, they've done really well on the sales for the game. But there are a lot of comments and feedback they've seen and they want to talk about that and actually address that going forward for the game, which is good to hear. It's always good to hear that developers are willing to listen to their fan base and change things as they may have problems about something, or maybe there's something they really like and they're going to lead more into that too. So it's always good to see that, and that's why guys, it's always important to leave your feedback. If it's positive or negative, leave it. Let them know what you think. Obviously here we can see the title update roadmap, which I'm going to do a video, two videos, one later today and one tomorrow, about what I think about the roadmap, but we'll get into that later. But you guys have already seen this, so we'll talk about it later. But one of the main things is actually challenging monsters. So right now in the game, the only 8-star quest monster is Ogveld. There is no other 8-star currently. So what it says here is, in addition to Tempered Ogveld 8-star, future updates will see more Tempered monsters 8-star added to the game, which is good because we need harder monsters in the game in general. The higher the star, the higher the HP they have, the higher the damage they deal. So having more of that will be great. Now, as you can see here, the first title update, it says Mizu will be unlocked at HR 21 or higher. And at HR 41 or higher, Tempered Mizu 8-star will be available to hunt in the environmental overview. So if you find it on the map, yeah, you can make an investigation and hunt the Mizu, which, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good way for us to, you know, get in some extra hunts. So guys, make sure you get to hunt to rank 41 at least so you can fight Tempered Mizu. You know, we need that difficulty, and hopefully Mizu is going to give it to us. And obviously we got Zoe as well, so you know, that's going to be good that we got a high rank version finally too. And then here we see them talk about Raydal, which yes, Arc Tempered Raydal is coming later on. And also a free challenge quest as well, so you want to do that too, because you get some rewards as well for that too. So yeah, HR 50 guys, at least HR 50, get to that. But it's also an end of May event. Now if you saw up here, you did see this end of May event, which apparently after listening to the Capcom live stream that went on today, this is more like a 1.5. It's like an addition to the title update 1. It's not as big as the full title update, but they're adding stuff as we've seen here, the Capcom collaboration and other additional features. And I'm guessing this comes under the additional features. Now what is this? Now in addition to the update at the end of May, we'll add the Tempered monsters Gomagala and the Apex Predators of each locale, which is good because we're going to have Raydal, Ufduna, New Udra and Ginger Had, all at 8-star, which makes them all more difficult, more HP and deal more damage in general. But that's not all, there's also going to be more things it seems to be when it comes to higher quests in general. Each of these monsters have various behind the scenes adjustments to make them more resilient, such as increased HP, resistance to wounding, which is a very important one we'll get back into, and tweaks to multiplayer scaling. Now, resistance to wounding is very much needed. Wounds are pretty damn busted. The amount of damage you can do on wounds and monsters falling over on wounds, making it harder to inflict them, is going to help out with that aspect of the fights. So I think that's going to really help out with the difficulty. It's going to make them more stronger. It's going to stop them from falling over and flinched like 24/7. Which is great. The problem is though, I guess when I think about that, there are some weapons that are more reliant on wounds than others, such as the Insect Glaive, the Charge Blade. So I'm just thinking those weapons that thrive from the wounding system are going to be penalized more than others. Instead, I probably would have liked it for the wounds just to deal less damage, breaking wounds, and also when you destroy a wound, the monster doesn't get flinched and knocked over as often. I think that would have been the way I would have gone with it, but they went with it this way, that's fine. But this does mean in multiplayer hunts, you're going to be fighting for those wounds more than usual. So guys, you know, push your friend out of the way, throw barrel bombs at them, whatever you can do to get to the wound first, and get your hits in. Get your hits in. Now more here, they say challenging monsters will also appear in future updates, so keep an eye out further information about them, which is cool to see. So it seems like 8-star quests are definitely going to be the ones where the monsters are going to be pushed to the maximum for the base game, which is good to see and good to hear too, because we want that challenge. You know, people have been talking about the challenge in this game. I haven't done a video about if this game is easy or not yet. I do want to talk about that in my full review. I haven't started that though, but we'll get to that eventually. Now that's not all, we got more here, the balance adjustments. Now, in response to some feedback after launch, we are planning to make various adjustments to the game, including weapon balance changes. These will be implemented gradually with each upcoming title update in order to make the game more enjoyable for everyone for a longer period of time. That's a weird statement. That's a very weird statement. Now, I do agree that you need to balance things over time. You don't want to just push out too much at once. But the reasoning behind that, to allow people to enjoy longer periods of time, how this reads and how I think they're trying to say it doesn't match. What I think they're trying to say is they're making balance changes to weapons to make it more enjoyable for people to play for a longer period of times. It's not that they will gradually be added to make it more enjoyable for people for longer periods of time, if you understand what I'm saying. Because the way it's structured, the sentence, it does make it kind of seem that way. But no, I think it's the former, that yes, there are some weapons that do need balance changes. I think on the video they talked about the hammer being one of them, and yes, hammer mains have been talking about their weapon being destroyed in this game because it's very limited to just pretty much just doing the same 2 hits, because most of the other hits don't do enough damage. That's why balance is important, guys, even in PvE games, which we're going to get into in a future video. So many videos I need to do, oh my god, there's not enough time, guys, not enough time. But yes, balancing is very important even in PvE games, so I'm glad they're going to be doing that for weapons like the hammer. I guess we need to see what else they're going to be doing, but like they said, it's going to be gradual, guys. So if your weapon doesn't get the balance changes in the first title update, wait for the second, wait for the 1.5 or any future ones. Hopefully they'll get around to you eventually. And I also wonder if that consists of nerfs too, because I do believe there are some nerfs that are needed. Okay, now let's see this next part. Depending on the content, these changes may take some time to prepare. For example, we are currently considering upward adjustments for the hammer, and then are looking at the overall weapon balance adjustments with a goal to implement them either in the end of May update or the second title update in summer. Interesting. Some unintentional overpowered things will be adjusted downwards, but we will also be adjusting other parts upwards, making for a general balance update, which is good. Some things do need to get nerfed, guys. It's evident. Things need to get nerfed. They even say here the corruption mantle was overtuned at launch, causing it to build up more damage than expected, thus narrowing the range of options for choosing other mantles. Yes, exactly. This is why balance matters, definitely in PvE games, because if things are too OP, other options just become irrelevant, because what's the point? There is no point picking other options if it isn't balanced. This goes for skills as well. There are some certain skills that are more OP than others. Because they're more OP than others, you are more likely to go for those skills over other skills. So yes, Capcom, I do implore you, push on balancing. As someone who really cares about balance quite a lot, I do love to see these type of statements being made. Nerfs need to come, but also buffs need to come in different parts of the kits and in the games in general. So I hope you get to see that, not just in us hunters, on the monsters too, because the monsters need it. But it seems like they're going to do that for tempered monsters. Hopefully we can see that on some of the other monsters in general too, but I guess we'll wait and see on that one. Also here they talk about quality of life, and one thing in particular, they're talking about improvements in the UI and UX, which should be good because the UI and user experience is kind of confusing, and this isn't just for new players, also for vets. I've seen a lot of people, and even myself, get confused about the menus. There's so many menus, so much going on, which I could definitely see they could just kind of consolidate some of the menus a bit easier and a bit more clear when it comes to certain things, and some of the UX definitely needs some rework. So if they can fix that, that would be great. Honestly, that'd be really good. They also say here the team also continues to make adjustments to further enhance the overall feel of the game to curate an even smoother gameplay experience, including but not limited to the ease of restocking items, checking skill information, participating in multiplayer quests, and using the sacred and camera behaviors during the hunt. This is interesting because what do they mean by restocking? One of the things I guess about restocking, there is no chest outside of your tent. You have to go in your tent every single time to restock. That is super annoying. Honestly, that's super annoying. We went from the old games, like all the way back in Try. I went to Try. We went from the old games where yes, you have to go back into your tent or your house to restock, into I think it was 4U or whatever. Maybe it was 3U. No, 3U I think did it too, where you could get items from a chest outside of that place, and then they did it more for you. They did it better in GU. In World, you could change your items even outside of your house, made it much easier. Change your equipment, great. Same in Rise. And now in Wilds, to restock your items, to change your equipment, you need to go back into your tent every time. So it's interesting that they've done that. Hopefully they figured that out to make it a bit more, well, better like it used to be. So I'm hoping on that one. Checking skill information, yeah, it's a bit weird sometimes. It's honestly strange. So hopefully they can do that. Participating in multiplayer quests. This one's interesting because participating in multiplayer quests, one of the things I suppose is picking the limit on how many people can join your quest. It's strange because you can only do it from the overall settings. You can't do it on a quest by quest basis like you used to in the older games. I'm not too sure why they went with that type of way of building it. If you could do both, that would be great, honestly. But I don't know if that's what they're talking about when they talk about participating in multiplayer quests. Maybe there's other things as well. It's kind of hard to figure out who's the one who actually posts the quest. You need to go through some of the screens. But once you understand it, you understand how to do it. But sometimes even I forget. But the main thing I actually think about when it comes to multiplayer is making rooms, man. That joining people's rooms is so weird. Like I don't know if it's still bugged. I've been trying to join my friends through the Hunter ID and it never works. It never works. Always fails to connect. So then I need the room ID, then I can connect. You just cannot connect via your Hunter ID. If you guys in the comments, if you guys are experiencing that, or maybe you guys can join through the Hunter ID, great. But I have never been able to do it. Fails every time. Same for all my friends, same for people on my Discord. If there's that one person, that one lucky guy out there, let me know. And then using the Sacred, yeah, Sacred is weird. Sacred is so strange, honestly. I don't like the Sacred, guys. I really don't like the Sacred. The controls are just strange. Not a fan, but let's move on. Okay. Improvements in game stability and other additions. Now, the game, it kind of runs like garbage on PC. Can't lie. Even for me, I have a beast rig. I have an i9 13th generation CPU. I have a 7900 XTX AMD graphics card. I have 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. This game's struggling, man. This game is struggling. Wait, do I have 32? No, I think I have 32, not 16, guys. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. But this game, it doesn't struggle. But sometimes, randomly, things glitch and I get like 2 frames, 10 frames per second constantly. I think that's just a bug though, because most of the time it runs pretty smooth. But if I want to run the game at 1440p with everything at ultra, I have to put frame generation on for that to run well. Now here they do talk about them improving some of the critical issues that has happened when it comes to stability and performance of the game, which is great, and also a reduction in VRAM, as they seem to be an issue when it came to that portion of the game. So hopefully they can address this, because people have been hammering for it. It's one of the reasons, I think it's the main reason why it got heavily disliked on Steam. On PC, people have not been enjoying the performance of the game, and guys, I'm one of those people. Even as someone with a beastly rig, I can't run an ultra. I cannot run the ultra 4K HT pack, because when I do, the frame rate dips so hard. Unless I get a 5090, I think that's the only way. But my GPU is literally 2 years old now. My CPU is 2 years old. It's not that old. It's still top of the range. So the fact that something that was top of the range not that long ago is struggling to run the 4K assets is saying something. So hopefully over time they can address this and make this one much better for me and for other people as well, because we need that, man. We honestly need that. And then they also talk about game balancing as well, and economy balancing of areas and stuff like that, which is going to be interesting and cool. I do hope they make the flow of how the weather changes, make it more engaging. I don't think they're going to make it more engaging for the base game though. I think that ship has kind of sailed. Maybe in expansion they're going to make monsters fight differently in different moments in the clemency, in the fallow, etc. Right now, not much changes that much when it comes to what the map state is in and how the monsters react to that state. But hopefully in the future we do see that. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. I'm going to leave a link to this in the description of this video. If you guys want to read more, go through it. But I don't know if there's anything more I want to talk about. I mean, coming back to the monster stuff, they also talk about tweaking of multiplayer scaling, which I don't think I talked about this briefly before, but I'll go over it again. Yeah, some people say monsters die just way too quickly in multiplayer. Yeah, so more HP multiplayer, definitely for these higher level quests. I think that's going to be great. But I do want to talk about HP and the new gen in Monster Hunter. Monster HP in the new gen Monster Hunter doesn't mean as much as it did in the old gen, and I do want to talk about it in the future one day, because, well, we'll get to that one day, guys. But you know, I always have video ideas. I just don't have enough time to do them. Honestly, I don't. I'm a busy man these days. My apologies, but hopefully I'll do some more videos for you guys to enjoy. But like I said, guys, later on you're gonna have that music video. Tomorrow you're gonna have what I think about the roadmap overall. Yeah, guys, I'll catch you then. Have a nice day, guys. See ya.